Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone, we are from group 8 and today we're gonna present about problem with pronouns. What is pronouns? A pronoun is a word that is used instead of a noun or noun phrase. Pronouns refer to either a noun that has already been mentioned or to a noun that does not need to be named specifically. Pronouns often cause trouble, and incorrect pronouns can be caught and corrected when editing an essay. Sometimes it is difficult to tell which pronoun to use in a compound subject or object. Pronouns types. There are 7 types of pronouns. The first one is personal, possessive, reflexive, relative, demonstrative, indefinite, and the last one is interrogative. And now let's study the following table for an overview of the different types of pronouns. There are type of pronoun, use, list of pronouns, and example. The first one is demonstrative. Refer to things. List of pronouns that, this, those. And for the example is this trail is the longest one. The second one is indefinite pronouns used for refer to non-specific people or things. The list of the pronoun is like for the singular is anybody, anyone, and everybody. Singular or plural is all, any, more, most. And for the example is, do you know anyone who has hiked to the bottom of the Grand Canyon?
Continued from indefinite pronouns, the list of pronouns of singular are someone and somebody, and the plural are both, few, and many. The third, interrogative pronouns. These pronouns are used in question. The list of pronouns are that, what, whatever, which, whichever, who, whoever, whom, and whose. The example is, who wants to sign up to ride the mules down into the Grand Canyon? The fourth, personal pronouns. These pronouns are referred to people or things. The subjective case are he, I, it, she, they, we, and you. The objective case are her, him, it, me, them, us, and you. The possessive case are his, her, my, mine, our, their, and yours. The example, if you ask Alicia, she will tell you that I am too chicken to ride the mules even though none of them has ever gone over the edge. Fifth, possessive pronouns. These pronouns are used to show ownership without using an apostrophe. The list of pronouns are his, her, its, my, mine, our, their, and your. The example, regardless of this expense, a helicopter ride is my choice for seeing the Grand Canyon.
Type of pronouns, reflexive and intensive pronouns. Used to end in self or selfish. Reflexive pronouns are needed for a sentence to make sense, and intensive pronouns are optional within a sentence. List of pronouns are herself, himself, itself, myself, oneself, ourselves, themselves, yourself, and yourselves. For example, the guides themselves put their lives in the hands or with the hooves of the mules every day. And the last, relative pronouns, used to show how dependent clause relates to a noun. Lists of pronouns are that, what, whatever, which, whichever, who, whoever, whom, whomever, and whose. Example, as long as I get to see the Grand Canyon from a vantage point other than the edge, I'm happy to choose whichever option you want. Number 2. Pronoun cases. Pronouns in English have different forms for the subjective, adjective possessive, possessive, and objective cases. The subjective case refers to words as they are used in the subject position. The objective case is used when the pronoun is in the object position. The possessive case is designated pronouns used to show position. Note that a pronoun can show position in two ways. For the first person singular, I as subjective, me as objective, my as adjective possessive, and mine as possessive. For the second person singular, you as subjective, and you as objective, your as adjective possessive, and yours as possessive. For the third person singular, he, she, it as subjective, him, her, its as objective, his, her, its as adjective possessive, his, hers, its as possessive. And then for the first person plural, we as subjective, us as objective, our as adjective possessive, and ours as possessive. For the second person plural, you as subjective, and you as objective, your it as adjective possessive, and yours as possessive. And the last for the third person plural, they as subjective, them as objective, their as adjective possessive.
Other types of pronouns can also have different cases. A. Indefinite pronouns. Subjective, there are anybody. For possessive, anybody's. Objective, anybody. Subjective, everybody. Possessive, everybody's. Objective, everybody. Subjective, someone. Possessive, someone's. Objective, someone's. Subjective case example, Joshua Tree National Park, which is in California, is named after a tree that is actually a member of the lily family. B. Relative pronouns case. Noun clauses can serve as subject or object and often begin with one of these relative pronouns. That, what, whatever, which, whichever, how, however, whom, whomever, and whose. Logically, you should use subjective case pronouns in noun clauses that function as subjects and objective case pronouns in noun clauses that function as objects. There are subjective that, subjective which, objective which, subjective who, possessive whose, objective whom, subjective whoever, possessive whoever's, objective whomever's. Objective case example, Joshua tree looks like nature is relative, the lily nor the biblical figure. Joshua whom the tree is said to be named after. Number 3, tips for avoiding pronouns case problems. I versus me. If you have trouble choosing between I and me in compound subject and object situation, remove the other subject or object and try I or me alone. Which of these two choices are correct? At Brian's Canyon Crawl took 30 pictures of Anna and I, or at Brian's Canyon Crawl took 30 pictures of Anna and me. And the result is, since the correct choice alone is me, the correct choice within the compound object is also me. So at Brian's Canyon Crawl took 30 pictures of Anna and me is right.
B. Who versus whom? If you are confused about whether to use who or whom in a dependent clause, try isolating the clause that includes who or whom. Then, reword the clause as a sentence and substitute a personal pronoun for who or whom. If he, she, or they sounds right, use who. If him, her, or them sounds right, use whom. Example, number 1, I don't know who to ask about where to stay at the Grand Tetons. Or, I don't know whom to ask about where to stay at the Grand Tetons. Result, since him, her, or them are the choice that work, the correct choice in this first sentence is whom. I don't know whom to ask about where to stay at the Grand Tetons. Number 2, who did you ask to watch the fire? Or, whom did you ask to watch the fire? Result, since her is objective case, you should use whom, which is also objective case. C. When the sentence is incomplete. In casual usage, some words are sometimes left out, thus requiring a pronoun to do extra work. If you are confused about which pronoun case to use in this situation, think about how the sentence would be written if it were totally complete. Considering the whole sentence meaning should help clarify the pronoun choice. Example, number 1, Harry likes camping more than she. Result, the pronoun she is the subject of the assumed verb likes, so subjective case is needed. Number 2, Harry likes camping more than her. Result, the pronoun her is the object of the assumed verb likes, so objective case is needed. D. We versus us. If you are unsure whether to use we and us before a noun or noun phrase, say the sentence without the noun or noun phrase in place. Whichever pronouns work without the noun or noun phrase is also the correct pronoun to use with the noun. Example, number 1, even us, people who like our creature comfort fall in love with nature when viewing the Grand Tetons. Or, even we, people who like our creature comfort fall in love with nature when viewing the Grand Tetons. Thus, even we fall in love with nature when viewing the Grand Tetons. Result, once people who like our creature comfort is dropped out, it becomes clear that the pronoun needs to be subjective case. Number 2, don't wait for us, creature comfort people, to come up with a plan. Or, don't wait for we, creature comfort people, to come up with a plan. Thus, don't wait for us to come up with a plan. Result, once creature comfort people is dropped, it becomes clear that the pronoun needs to be objective case.